Do you know that before a flower blooms on a plant, it is decided that the plant is going to flower? Many hormonal and structural changes lead to the differentiation and development of floral primordium. Some flowers have both male and female reproductive parts and they are called bisexual flowers. A flower with either a male reproductive unit or a female reproductive unit is called a unisexual flower. In this video, let us discuss the male reproductive part of a flower. Okay then, let's start. The male reproductive unit or androecium is a collective term given to the wall of stamen. So, let us check the various parts of androecium. A typical stamen has two parts, the long slender stalk called the filament and the terminal generally bilobed anther. Bilobed means each lobe has two theca, that is, they are dithecous. Mustard is an example of this. Hibiscus is an example of a monothecous anther. A longitudinal groove runs lengthwise separating the theca. Let us understand the types of tissues and their organization with the transverse section of an anther. So, an anther is a tetragonal structure consisting of 4 microsporangia, 2 in each lobe. And this microsporangium further develops and forms the pollen sacs. Where are pollen grains seen? The pollen sacs extend all through the length of the anther and pollen grains are packed inside this structure. Now let us talk about microsporangium. If we check the transverse section, it is generally surrounded by 4 wall layers. And they are epidermis, endothecium, middle layers and tapetum. The outer 3 layers are meant for protection and helps in the dehiscence of the anther. Tapetum nourishes the developing pollen grains. Its cells possess dense cytoplasm and generally have more than 1 nucleus. Next, we will discuss about microsporogenesis in detail. When the anther is young, a group of compactly arranged homogeneous cells called sporogenous tissue is found at the center of microsporangium. As the anther develops, the cells of sporogenous tissue undergo reductional division and form microspore tetrad. Each cell is a potential pollen mother cell or microspore mother cells and they can be abbreviated as PMC or MMC respectively. The process of formation of microspores from a pollen mother cell or microspore mother cell is called microsporogenesis. So, what are these microspores? They are the pollen grains. So, let us now check the further development process. Microspores are arranged in a cluster of 4 cells, the microspore tetrad. When the anther matures, microspores dissociate from each other and develop into pollen grains. When the anther dehisces, several thousands of pollen grains present inside each microsporangium are then released. Now we are going to deal with what is a pollen grain. Pollen grains are the male gametophytes. Do you know that there are many sizes and colors for these pollen grains? Now let us check the structure of a pollen grain. Here, you can see the electron microscopic image of a pollen grain. Pollen grains are generally spherical structures that can measure about 25 to 30 micrometers in diameter. A pollen grain has two layers, an outer hard layer named exine and an inner continuous layer called intine. Exine is made up of sporopollenin, which is one of the most resistant organic materials known. Outer exine has germ pores through which pollen tube germinates out. It can withstand high temperatures and other adverse conditions. While intine is a thin and continuous layer made up of cellulose and pectin. So, what is the case with a mature pollen grain? Mature pollen contains two cells, the bigger vegetative cell and the smaller generative cell. The bigger cell has abundant food reserve and a large irregular shaped nucleus. And the smaller one is spindle shaped with dense cytoplasm and a nucleus float in the cytoplasm of the vegetative cell. And these pollen grains are shed at 2-celled or 3-celled stages. Pollen grains may cause serious allergic problems and bronchial afflictions such as bronchitis. For example, Parthenium species, sorghum species, etc. But they do have some benefits too. Let us talk about them. Pollen grains are rich in nutrients. It is also taken as food supplements in the form of tablets and syrups in Western countries. Pollen consumption has been claimed to improve the performance of athletes. Pollen must land on the stigma before it loses its viability. Do you know the definition of viability? It is the functionality of pollen. The time period for which each pollen remains viable is highly variable. For example, cereals such as wheat and rice lose their viability within 30 minutes of their release. In some members of Rosaceae, Leguminosae and Solanaceae, pollen grains remain viable for months. It is possible to store pollen in pollen banks for years in liquid nitrogen at -196 degrees Celsius. Now, let us summarize what we have learned.
Manorama Horizon. Learning made simple.